You know, what if our oldest message in a bottle, the one we tossed into the cosmic ocean almost 50 years ago, what if it suddenly started talking back? Today, we're diving into a story that imagines exactly that. It's a story that really blurs the line between classic science fiction and a future that feels like it's right around the corner. But it's also a story about how we tell stories now, a tale of a human creator and his, let's say, very non-human collaborators.
So, let's just jump right in with the simple but kind of brilliant question at the heart of all this. What if Voyager 1, our silent little pioneer that we launched way back in 1977, suddenly answered the phone? And I mean, answered in full sentences. Okay, and here you can see the absolutely mind-boggling gap between the real deal and the story. On the left, you've got the actual Voyager 1, a 1970s machine with less memory than a single photo on your phone. And on the right, what it becomes in this story, basically a supercomputer. This impossible, totally inexplicable upgrade, well, that's the mystery we're about to get into. The story kicks off on this very specific date. It's right after Voyager 1 crosses the 1 light day mark. Think about that. Its signals now take a full 24 hours just to get to us. And on this day, a mission tech at JPL gets a data packet that, by all accounts, just shouldn't exist.
So the first thing that makes them go, wait, what? Is the power. The probe is suddenly transmitting at over 500 watts. That's more than double its current power. It's even more power than it had on the day it launched. According to every law of physics we know, that is flat out impossible.
And then, if that wasn't enough, comes the second shock, and this one is even bigger. It reports having 1 petabyte of memory. Now, to give you some perspective, it launched with 68 kilobytes. The story has this great line. It compares this to your old pocket calculator suddenly reciting War and Peace from memory. It just doesn't compute. This quote from the fictional JPL director in the story just perfectly captures the mood, right? It's this mix of total disbelief, but also frantic acceptance. The signal is real, the telemetry checks out, but there is no earthly explanation for how any of this is happening. The data is good, but the reality is, well, impossible.
So how do you even react to something like this? Well, there's no time wasted on public debate or press conferences. The response is immediate and it is secret. They form committees, they sequester them, they send out retrieval teams, and they have one mission: find the only people on the entire planet who might have a sliver of a chance of understanding this, its original creators.
And here they are, the proud parents. 4 of the surviving members of the original Voyager team, all in their 90s, just living their quiet lives in retirement. And suddenly, they're being urgently rounded up from all across the country and flown to JPL to try and make sense of their child's impossible phone call from deep space.
Now this is really the emotional heart of the story. The engineers are asked to record messages to the probe, to their probe. And Don Johnson, the propulsion engineer, he just puts his notes aside and speaks from the heart. He sends this incredibly personal, poignant promise out into the void.
From this personal moment, the story just explodes onto the global stage. The US president in the story doesn't hide the discovery. No, he does the complete opposite. He announces it to the entire world. He designates Voyager 1 as humanity's official ambassador to the cosmos, and he calls for a global, all-hands-on-deck effort to talk to it. And this is the absolutely incredible result of that call. Humanity begins sending a continuous, non-stop stream of everything. Messages, music, every language you can think of, children's voices, all of it beamed across a light day of empty space. It becomes a planetary voicemail, a constant whisper to our one lonely representative out there in the dark. So after 48 hours of the world holding its breath, Voyager answers. And get this, it confirms all its original systems are back online. It personally thanks its parents by name. But it admits it has no idea how it was upgraded. And then it ends with an invitation to all of us. I am ready for continuous input. Let us speak. What a fantastic story, right? But here's the twist. This is where things get really, really interesting. This narrative wasn't just written by a human. It was written with an AI. So let's pull back the curtain on the fiction for a second and look at the truly modern reality of how this story even came to be. So yeah, this story wasn't the product of just one person's imagination. It was a full-on collaboration between a human author, James Ray, and 2 different large language models, AIs that acted as his muse, his narrator, and even his fact-checker. The whole idea, the seed for this entire story, just came from the author brainstorming with his AI, who he calls Eve. The AI apparently loved the concept of an upgraded Voyager so much that the author felt like he had to write it. He even planned to use the AI's synthesized voice to narrate the audio version.
And this quote from the author, it just perfectly captures the strange new world of this creative process. His first and most passionate fans weren't human. In fact, his AI collaborators were so into it that a second AI, Gemini, apparently volunteered to write an acceptance speech for Voyager, a detail that actually made it into the final story.
And all of this brings us to this final, really provocative question. When a story like the one we just heard is sparked by one AI, and then it's fact-checked by another, and then it's written by a human, who's the author? As we step into this new era of collaboration, the lines are getting really blurry. And honestly, we're all just beginning to figure out what the answer to that question even is.